Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we were discussing Drishya Viveka, inquiry into the seer and the seen. While discussing in the previous class, we were trying to know what is this creation and the projection. What is the difference between the creation and the projection? The non-dualistic philosophy doesn't accept creation, it accepts the theory of projection. Why? Because the theory of creation even goes against the science. As we all know that no energy can be freshly created, nor no energy can be destroyed. It is only interchangeable. Like mechanical energy can be converted to wind energy can be converted into electrical energy, or electrical energy can be converted into heat energy. So, like this, the energy is convertible, but no fresh energy is being manufactured or created newly. So, even the Advaita Vedanta also, put forth the theory of projection from this standpoint of view. Now, how much ever we say that I am the self, we are the self, and self alone is real, the consciousness alone is real, and the world, which is of the nature, name and form, it is an appearance, we don't understand. Or sometimes we say, okay, that's okay, but then how this world came into existence? When did this world got created or projected? Who projected it? How it got projected? So this type of question can boggle us. For that question, in the verse 14, the author is trying to answer. From the absolute standpoint of view, the Brahman, the spirit, or the self alone is real. But from the relative standpoint of view, according to the Advaita Vedanta, the Brahman is pointed out as the cause of the universe. But actually, Brahman is not the cause, but still, from the relative standpoint of view only, they are trying to speak. The nature of creation, from the relative standpoint of view, how the Brahman can be the cause of creation, we shall try to understand. Srushtir Nama Brahmarupe Satchidananda Vastuni Abdau Fenadivats Sarvanama Rupa Prasarana. The manifesting of all names and forms in the entity, which is existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, and which is the same as Brahman, like the foams, water bubbles, etc., is known as creation. Simply, the author is giving a beautiful example. When we go to seashore, we are sitting in the seashore and we are enjoying the sea, ocean. You see small water waves, some are medium-sized waves, some waves may be very big in size. Fine. Then if someone asks, oh look, there are such wonderful waves. Some are small, some are tiny, some are medium-sized, some are big-sized waves. Fine. And when the water comes near the seashore and when it is going back, then we see a lot of water bubbles. And some places we will see sea foam also. Now different sized waves, water bubbles, water foam, sea foam we see. Now, the question comes, all these things are where as an enjoyer of the nature, I'm enjoying, or someone is enjoying. Then an Advaitin, and philosopher is also accompanied along with them. And just he was witnessing all of that. Then The person said, Arey, this philosopher is always he discriminates. That's why I think he's unable to experience the nature. Sir, how beautiful the water waves, isn't? Then this Advaitin philosopher, he says, he nods, he said, yes, it is true. See how beautiful water bubbles, what is nature creation? Yes, true. And you see the water foam? Yes, true. Ah, then the person was thinking, okay, philosopher is also in my path today, in my track. After a while, a philosopher, the Advaitin asked, my dear, now you tell me whether the water in the ocean water and the waves, both are one and the same or different. Then this layman said, oh, my philosopher, you started your philosophy. That's okay. Please tell me the answer. Then he thinks it is different, I think, or maybe it's a part of it, or maybe same thing. Just no, I want an answer, right answer. Then the layman, he scratches his head and he says that, yeah, because the waves are nothing but the water, it is a part of water, no doubt. Yeah, fine. Then what about water bubbles? Yeah, water bubbles, which contains air also, maybe part of the ocean, are different from the ocean. Oh, no, okay, they are part of the ocean. Fine. What about the sea foam? Yeah, it contains few things, but yeah, it's a part of the ocean. Fine. So first time when we asked this question, it was different. Water waves were different and ocean water is different. Water bubbles were different from ocean. That's what our experience, our perception, or our understanding was there. Then when we scratch or when we ask the people to think more in deep, then he thought, okay, that's a part of it. Fine. Then when we ask you go bit deep, then we say, then the ocean water itself is appearing as a wave. The ocean water itself is appearing as water bubbles. The ocean wave is appearing as a foam, isn't it? Then when a person deeply thinks, he understands, yes. That means the ocean water alone is real. Whatever you say, because of gravitation force or whatever the reason, so the water waves and water bubbles and water foam, sea foam, everything is nothing but the water. Because it has got different forms and we have got different names, we have given different names for our transaction. But the ocean alone is real, but all other things are appearance. The ocean water is appearing as waves, water bubbles, and sea foam. So, similarly, the Brahman is appearing as the world. And because different forms are there, like so called objects, we have got different names. Otherwise, there is no difference. So, the self and the consciousness alone is true. Just like the water waves, water bubbles, and sea foam. That's what the author is trying to give the answer here. So, why it is seen, if you ask, the Advaitin says that the Ishvara has projected the universe, the cosmic spirit, the Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic energy or the divine. He has projected this universe. That's why we are all experiencing that projected universe. That is called Vikshepa Shakti. So, creation is nothing but the projection of the name and form. And the beautiful example can be given is different furnitures. There's a wooden table, wooden chair, wooden desk, and whatnot, wooden plate. Fine. Now, all the four, they are one and same or different. Come on, Swami, all are different. Why? Because one is wooden table. It is meant for something else. It has got a particular dimension, particular height, particular width, particular length. Fine. Wooden chair, yes, it has got different form, different name, different functional aspect, different size, everything. Same thing with the desk and same thing with the, what you say, wooden plate. This is what the general answer we get it. Then when I ask, okay, you try to remove the wood from all the four, what does it exist? Nothing exists. Everything ceases to exist. So that's why the name and form are mere appearance or illusory. Only the substance is real. The wooden substance is real. The wooden substance, the wood is appearing as a chair. The wood is appearing as a table. The wood is appearing as a desk, or the wood is appearing as the plate. It has got different forms, no doubt, and we have got different names, no doubt. It has got different functions, no doubt. It is meant for different purposes, no doubt. From functional aspects, from the transactional truth point of view, we all accept that. From the absolute standpoint, only wood is appearing in a different forms, otherwise nothing else. So the Brahman is appearing as the different names and forms, otherwise nothing else. That is what the author is trying to tell here. So, what is the cause of creation? Why the world is appearing as like this? Because it's a projection of the universe by Ishvara, by his power, which is called Maya. So here that means what? Brahman exists independently and the world is dependent on the Brahman or on the self. Just like wood has got independent existence, table, chair, plate, and desk is depending on the wood. And same thing we can say golden ornaments, golden necklace, golden bangles, golden earrings, golden nose rings. You remove the gold from all of them, nothing exists. So the golden ornaments are depending of their for their existence on the gold. So gold is real, gold is appearing as different ornaments. So the name and form is illusory, but the substance is real. That is what the author is trying to tell here. So Brahman alone exists, it is appearing as the world. So it is only appearance. Now, how it is appeared? Because of the projection, power of projection. That is called Vikshepa Shakti. And this cannot be removed for anyone. Say, for an example, now I became the knower of the Brahman. I am experiencing the self. If I am experiencing the self at that juncture, no, but otherwise, even the Brahmagnani, the knower of Brahman, while he is living in the world, he will be able to perceive the universe, but it will be no more real for him. The projection of universe is very common for everyone, but for a Brahmagnani, the world will not be real. It is an appearance, will be very well understand. And for the Agnani, the ignorant person, the appearance has become true. The appearance is the appearance appears him for him as a truth. That is what very important. This is okay. But the problem is we are mistaking the self for non-self and non-self for the self. That's where the problem is. This is one more power of the Maya. That is what Avarna Shakti, that is covering power of Maya, wheeling power of Maya. So this is where our problem is. So all Advaita is trying to tell us that you destroy that ignorance, means you try to remove the cover. So just my eyes were, covered by a piece of cloth. I was unable to see what is there in front. The moment I remove this cover, then I'm able to see the things or people who are in front of me. So similarly, there is a thin cover of ignorance, a layer of ignorance has covered on my mind. I am unable to see what is real. So this that is called Agnana. That Agnana has to be removed to be happy, blissful, and to be free from this cycle of birth and death. So this is again it is a power. So willing power, Avarna Shakti. What it is, it has been described in the 15th verse. Let us see what it is. Antar Drugdrushyayoho Drushayor Bedam Bahishcha Brahmasargayoho Avruno iti Avruno ityapara Shaktirasa Samsarasya Karanam. So what is the nature of samsara? The author is trying to tell here. One is the other power of projection, the other is power of covering. The other power of Maya conceals the distinction between the perceiver and the perceived objects, which are cognized within the body, as well as the distinction between the Brahman and the phenomenal universe, which is perceived outside. This power is the cause of the phenomenal universe. Now, there is a self and the world. There is a consciousness and there is a matter, but it appears that both are one and the same. We are unable to make the distinction between the matter and between the consciousness because of agnana, because of ignorance. That's what the author is trying to tell here. So what is universe? If you ask, according to the author, it is the Brahman self plus nama and rupa, name and form. That is what called Maya. And what about the individual self, if you ask? The Brahman plus body and mind are, yeah, body and mind complex. That is what the appearance again. So, because of the Avarna Shakti, the concealing power of Maya, the individual soul is thinking that he is bound, he is fat, he is thin, he is lean, he is happy, he is unhappy, he is an achiever, he is a loser, he is good, he is bad, he is right, he is wrong. Oh, so many things we think, so many things we experience. With this respect, we enjoy and we suffer. But all these things, does it belong to self? No, all these things, it belongs to body and mind complex. That's where the problem is. For an example, I get hurt, my leg gets hurt. My leg gets hurt. What happened to your leg? Oh, my leg, I have got body pain because my leg has got hurt. My leg has got hurt, I'm telling, but I'm feeling that I have got hurt. So this is what the difference between. Say, for an example, in Sri Ramakrishna's life, also, if you see, he also had a throat cancer. Definitely, he had a lot of suffering, no doubt, and he was unable to take any meal, any food, no doubt, but he was happy. He was blissful. He was never morose. He never lamented. He never cried. Why? Because he knew very well that the cancer is for his throat and for the body, not for him. But the same thing happens to us. We feel morose, we feel dejected, we feel very weak, and we feel depressed, whatnot. Though the cancer is for my body, but I am thinking that it has happened to me. This is what because of the ignorance. So the consciousness has been covered with the ignorance. That's the reason I am thinking whatever happens, it is happening to me. It is happening to my body and mind, but I am think that it is happening to me. On the lighter side, jokingly, for an example, I was going in the four wheelers, and just I was driving. Suddenly, there was a torrents of rain. Huge. What rainfall, and because of that, nearby there was a stream, water stream, and it got overflooded, and water rushed on the road, on the bridge, and where I was traveling, and it started water on the. It is flooded with the road is flooded with the water. Now I have been struck in the water now. Now, if I try to save the vehicle, I may lose my life. I may end my life. Now, either I have to save my vehicle or I have to save myself. Now, what to do? Recently I purchased some 10,000 euros I gave, and I bought the vehicle. Now, I don't want to leave the vehicle, but if I don't leave the vehicle, then I may die. What to do now? Willingly or unwillingly, I'll be forced to leave the vehicle because to take care of myself or to protect myself. Because that vehicle belongs to me, but I'm not the vehicle. When the question comes between the existence of vehicle and me, then I will take care of myself, not the vehicle. The secondary importance is given to the vehicle, and the primary importance is given to the body and mind. Why? Because it is not me, it is mine. But something happens to vehicle, I feel morose. Someone made a scratch. The the co-traveler who was going with a motorbike or the car, there was a clash, there was a friction, and there was a scratch. Yesterday only I got this vehicle. There was a scratch. You fellow, you rogue, and we had a hot exchange of words, and I was feeling bad. When someone asked what happened, oh my God, vehicle got scratched today. Vehicle got scratched, but I'm feeling that as if it is happening to me. But the same thing, after some time, when there was a question between me and my vehicle, then I left my vehicle and I started protecting myself. Why? Because the vehicle belongs to me. It is mine, no doubt, but I am not that. But the simple logic, we all know that. But anything happens to the external objects which belongs to me, if anything happens to them, and I start feeling unhappiness. Why? Because as if I think that it is happening to me. It is not so. So that doesn't mean that tomorrow something happens to me, some happens to my things, I should keep quiet. I don't mean that. But it is happening to the vehicle, we should be able to see objectively. Say, for an example, and Swami Turyananchi Maharaj, he was to be operated. I mean, it happened around 80, 100 years before. It was a major operation. Then he told, you can do the operation, but the condition is I will not accept anesthesia. I don't want anesthesia. The doctor said, come on, Swami, you can't do it. Without anesthesia, we can't operate, and there'll be a lot of pain, and you will scream, and you can't get operated. Then the Swami said, nothing doing. I will assure you, without anesthesia, I can get it done, no problem. If you accept my terms and conditions, then only you can do, otherwise, no. Then the doctors had to accede his request or accept his terms and conditions. Then he was taken to operation table. Then they said, Swami, now we will start the operation. Then he said, wait, 1 or 2 minutes, or maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Then he said, now you can operate. And the operation was major operation. It went for a few hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. And he was lying down with consciousness. He knows that what is happening on his body, but he didn't utter a word. Just like a log of wood, or a person who is in the coma state, how he will be like that in open eyes is there. So it was a miracle for the doctor and the nurses and all. I mean, the operation done, and it was successful. And doctor, I mean, it was unassuming for him. And he said, Swami, I don't know how did you bear all these things. It is really miracle for me. And it is beyond my expectation or imagination or understanding. And yeah, with reverence, the doctor, he conveyed his respect and he left. The next day, or maybe a day or two after, the doctor came and he said, Swami, how are you? Turyanji said, yes, I'm doing well. So while talking, he touched the place where he was operated. Then Turyanji started shouting, like that, with the pain. This doctor took aback. And he said, Swami, 2 days before we did operation for you. You kept quiet for hours. And now just because I want to redress it, I want to remove the bandage, old bandage, and I want to clean it, and I want to put the bandage, new bandage, and you started shouting. What is this? I'm unable to understand. Then he said, fool, when you operated, you had said that we are operating. I had withdrawn myself from this body and mind. So whatever is happening for this body, I was not aware of it. Or it was happening to my body, I didn't bother. Now my self, my consciousness, or my my understanding is attached with the body and mind. So as soon as you test, I'm experiencing the pain. You should have told that I am touching this, but I mean the particular part where I had operated. Then I would have withdrawn my mind from that part. Then you could have done whatever. Then the doctor was dumbfounded to hear this. Then he said, okay, Swami, we are trying to redress it. Then in no time, Turyanji, he withdrew his mind. Then it was redressed, and Swami was sleeping, just lying down on the bed without any, fear or cry or whatever. See, this is what, the moment when we understand that we are the self, not the body and mind, then definitely you can bear any type of pain, any type of shocks, and you will not be moved by any dualities of this world. Sometimes now we are at the spring. Slowly the cold is reducing. Then after a month we'll have a summer, more or less. Fine. Some may like summer, some may like winter. Some may like cold, some may like hot weather. Some may like happy. Some have to. Every one of us, we have to experience happiness, unhappiness, good, bad, right, wrong, loss, profit. These are bound to come and bound to go. Bound to come and bound to go. They are not eternal. But if we understand that this all belongs to my body and mind, not to me, I am the self, then all these things will not taint me, will not perturb me. I can be blissful at any given point of time. This is the greatness of Advaita Vedanta. Why should one study anyone Advaita Vedanta? Why anyone should study or hear my Drishya Viveka classes? Because you will know this truth, and it is like observing as a shock observer. Many times devotees ask, Swami, don't you get any problems? I say, yes, I am living in the world. I do get problems, challenges. Then how do you make up? I say if I get really, my mind is perturbed, either I start repeating God's name, or I start singing some hymns, or I start reading the best is reading some books. What happens, Swami? Oh, all of them, it observes as a shock observer and it all observes. And when my mind has been lifted, all these things exist or doesn't exist, or whether it is there or not there, it doesn't matter. So we have our mind has been, at least we have transcended ourselves to the higher level. So when we are hearing such good thoughts, such noble thoughts, the thoughts which speak about truth, when we keep on hearing, what happens? At least it observes as a shock observer. It acts as a shock observer. We can be happy in spite of having the problems. The problems come and go. We have to objectively think. We have to objectively, what you say, probably put solutions to solve the problems, no doubt. But I will be unaffected. That is what we achieve, we attain by studying Advaita Vedanta. Now, why I am not able to? Because of Avarna Shakti. Because the truth has been covered by ignorance. Just like there's a beautiful sunlight. Suddenly, a thick patch of clouds came and it covered the sun, then the sunlight got diminished, or I am not able to get the complete sunlight. Why? Because the clouds are covering the sun. So, similarly, the self has been covered by this ignorant layer, or the understanding has been clouded by the ignorance. That's why I think that I am body, I am mind, I am doer, I am experiencer, I am sufferer, I am enjoyer, whatnot. So, I'm neither the enjoyer nor the sufferer. I am neither the having profit nor the loss. All these things belongs to transactions, belongs to body and mind, not me. I am the self. And the simple example is dream experience. In the dream, I had a wonderful dream. What is that? I became a millionaire at par with a Tesla. Fine, wonderful. So, like Tesla and myself, we are at the same state or the economical status. So, I am probably traveling in one of the X model of the Tesla's model vehicle or in BMW car. And then, or I am got my own jetter flight, and I've got a big, huge house with lot of people, thousands of euros or hundred thousands of euros in my bank balance. All that I was experiencing, and I was enjoying. Suddenly, alarm bell rang. Then I opened my eyes, then back to square. Before my sleeping, whom I was, and now when I got up, whom I am, same thing, no difference. So I was I was at par with Tesla, having a Y model, or having 100,000 euros in the bank account, and what big house, all the huge property, everything was just a dream. So that was not real. But in the dream state, it was real for me. But when I came to waking state, it appeared, or I experienced that it was mere dream. It is not real. So similarly, the knower of the Brahman, the person who has experienced the truth, for him, even this waking state also appears to be as a long dream. But for us ignorant people, we are in the waking state and we don't understand that it is also a long dream. That's what the problem is. The same thing we can see in the life of Swami Vivekananda. As a young Naren, he was making a joke on Sri Ramakrishna's Advaitic philosophy. Oh, Sri Ramakrishna is saying that everything is self, jug, table, kettle, cart, I, you, all nonsense. It is all simply, hypothetical argument. But with the divine grace of Sri Ramakrishna, his master, Naren experienced that truth. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is self or Brahman. Then he was able to see that the whole thing is pervaded by consciousness. Even the people were looking like a image. The railings were looking, he was unable to know that whether the railings which he had seen earlier and now he is seeing whether it is true or it just is an appearance. He had experienced that the whole world is pervaded by consciousness or whatnot. Everything is appearing as a dream. So that was the experience of the young Naren. So when we travel in spiritual path in advanced way, then definitely we can experience all these Vedantic truths. So that's what we have to understand very clearly. So because of this Avarna Shakti, the veiling power of Maya, The distinction between the self and the body mind has been removed. Or the body and mind is confusing with the self, or self is confusing with the body and mind. That's how this mixture is there. So that has to be removed. And this idea has been beautifully explained in the Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter. Kshetra Kshetragna Vibhaga Yoga. So you have to make distinction between the kshetra, the body, and the kshetragna, the person who is residing in the kshetra, in the body, is the soul or the self. Both are different. The moment you differentiate them, what happens? Then that is what realization. So that is what, self-realization. That is what nirvana, mukti. Here differentiation means it is not the physical differentiation, it is only a mental differentiation. The ignorance is removed. I and the self, I and the body and mind, both are different. So I as the witness, seer number 3, Sakshi, is true, real, Satya, and whereas this body and mind, it is an appearance, or it belongs to matter. So they are the instruments, no doubt, for the experience of its karma, actions, or whatnot, but they are the instruments for the soul, but it is not the soul. So, self and its instruments, body and mind are the instruments for the soul, are of the soul. That's what we have to understand. But day to day, our experience, if something happens to instrument, I feel that it happens to me. That's where the problem is. So, seer 3 is different from seer 2 and seer 1, and the scene, that is of the world. But whereas the seer 3 is getting mixed up with the seer 2 and 1, we have to differentiate and understand. For that understanding only, we are doing that. So, what is the seer number 3? Sakshi, Chaitanya, consciousness, witness. It is. Then what is the seer number 2? That is mind, which is part of the subtle body, which is observer, perceived, known, and inert. The seer number 2 is inert, whereas seer number 3 is consciousness. And seer number 3 is free from all type of modifications. Whereas seer number 2 and this world, it is subject to modifications. Constantly it is getting changed. Then seer 3, it is truth, real, satyam. And whereas seer number 2 on this world is appearance, or inert, or mithya, unreal. And seer 3, it is independent. Seer 2 on this world is dependent on the self or the consciousness. And seer 3 is self-luminous. And seer 2 on this world is nothing but, it is a borrowed consciousness. It is borrowed existence. Just like moon has borrowed the energy from the sun, and that's how moonlight we get. So similarly, the body, mind, and world has borrowed the consciousness or energy from the self. So these are the differences. By thinking this time and again, we can understand that I am the self, not the body and mind, nor even this world. So cause is real, the effect is there in all these 3 periods of time, but they are changing, they are impermanent, they are unreal, but we are mistaking it. That you have to understand very clearly. Now, what is this world and how this world came into existence, why it came into existence, and how it is appearing, how we are experiencing, all these things we saw. Who am I has been told already, and the nature of body and mind has told already, and the nature of the world has been told already. But hearing this, then what is the nature of the individual soul, Jivatma, the nature of embodied self? This question may come. So that has been answered in the 16th verse. Like I am the individual soul who suffers, who enjoys, who experiences the law of transmigration, birth and death. So how it is, why it is, being explained in the 16th verse. Sakshina purato bhati lingam dehena sanyutam chitichaya samaveshat jivasya dvaya vyavaharikaha. Means the subtle body which exists in very close to the witness, Sakshi, identifying itself with the gross body, becomes the embodiment self at empirical level on account of its being affected by the reflection of consciousness. Seer number 3, that is self or consciousness. What is the seer number 2? That is mind, which is part of the subtle body. Seer 1, sense organs, again part of the subtle body. Now, when I die, what happens? This physical body, this gross body has been it will be left over here, and it is perishable and it gets perished. Now I take new birth. What happens? Oh, many times people say self travels to the new. I mean, self leaves this old body and it travels to the new body. It assumes or it takes the new body. Self travels from the old body to new body. This is what our understanding, but it is not true. It is not real. Why? The self never travels anywhere. It cannot travel at all. Why? Because it is sarvavyapi. It is all pervasive. Now I am limited by this time and space. That's why I can travel. Now I am in Dublin 15. I can go to Dublin 1 or Dublin 2 or Dublin 3. If I am all pervasive, where is the question of my going? I cannot go from here to from one place to another. Then what happens actually in the death, during the death? Does self exist in the dead body? If you ask, we say, or Advaita Vedanta says, yes, self exists even in the death body. Okay, if so, then why the dead body is not aware of the self? Why? Because there is no reflecting medium called subtle body. So what happens in the during the death? The subtle body leaves the physical body. That's why the physical body is not aware of the self or the consciousness. So what happens to the new body then? The subtle body enters the new physical body, and that's how the reflecting medium it enters, and it is able to reflect or receive the consciousness and the power of consciousness. It is able to perceive the life. So this we have to understand very clearly. During death, what happens? The subtle body leaves the old body, and yeah, that is what death. What happens to birth? The subtle body enters the new physical body. That is what we say birth. So self doesn't travel from one body to another, from one place to another. Only subtle body travels from one body to another, from one place to another. So this you have to understand very clearly. So also, now say for an example, in a coma state, whether the person is aware of his individuality? No. In the deep sleep, are we aware of our individuality? No. Why? Because there the mind is in dormant condition. The mind is not active. So the because of the sense of individuality is because of the body and mind. If the mind is not absent, if the mind is not there, if the body is not there, then the sense of individuality cannot exist at all. That means the sense of individuality, the function of individuality belongs to mind in reality. If the mind gets destroyed, then the sense of individuality ceases to exist. So means the role and or the function of the mind is what? The sense of individuality. I am separate from X. I am separate from Y. I am separate from this world. I am separate from objects and people. So this separateness or individualness is given by from the body and mind, and especially from the subtle body or the mind, not from the self. Self is universal. Self cannot be divided. There are no so many selves. There are only so many reflecting mediums. That's why there are so many individual beings. Self is one, but because of different, n number of reflecting mediums, so there are n number of selves. So why the jiva, individual self, is experienced exists because of the mind called reflecting medium. What is this reflecting medium? Already we have seen earlier. So basically what happens? The mind, the problem happens actually at the two levels. One is at the internal subjective level, and the other is external objective level. Internal subjective level, external objective level. So what does it, what do I mean? Let me explain. I am consciousness, I am self, I am witness. Of course, you are also self, you are also conscious, you are also witness, no doubt. Fine. But when I am conscious, when I am self, when I am witness, that means what? I am self luminous. I am independent and I am eternal. I am blissful. I am existence. I am consciousness, bliss, absolute. So I don't need anything for my existence. I don't need anything for my happiness. I don't need anything for my security. I don't need anything for my coexistence. But though this is a fact, there is a misjudgment, misidentification with the body and mind. So what happens? What happens? I think that I need external support for my happiness, for my bliss, for my security, for my existence. I need money for my existence. I need house for my existence. I need people to be happy. I need things to be happy. So I misidentify, I wrongly what you say, perceive or think that I need so many things for my happiness. So I become dependent mentally first time. First. For example, for argument's sake, there was some problem in the satellite and all our internet stops working. What happens? Immediately we all become restless. I think recently I think saw as Paul, I think Instagram, I think maybe Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp was not working. In 2-3 minutes, there are hundreds of messages to the WhatsApp. So, for an example, if WhatsApp is not working, there are hundreds of messages went to WhatsApp. What happened? My WhatsApp is not working. My WhatsApp is not working. My WhatsApp is not working. Then basically, the concerned person of the WhatsApp company had to give a public statement. We are sorry to say that there was some technical issue. That's why there was a problem with the customers to handle the WhatsApp. Now that has been restored or resolved. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe half an hour say. WhatsApp was not working. But as if it happened so, we feel that our life is at stake. Our life has come to end. My goodness, how much we have become the slaves for WhatsApp, you see. Without WhatsApp, say a few years before, without WhatsApp, we were happy. For some or other reason, tomorrow WhatsApp gets stopped, no problem. Maybe 1 or 2 days we feel uneasy, we feel difficulty, but we get used to it. Something else will come, even nothing comes, but fine, we will exist. But it is appearing as if without internet, without mobile, without WhatsApp, without social media, my life is not full. I mean, there was even I think a story. I mean, a boy was asking his grandpa, how did you stay without mobile, without internet, without social media? My goodness, I can't imagine how you people survived. Then the old man started laughing and said, we were very happy, my dear, without all these things. But I pity for you people that you have become the slaves of all these things and you are losing the life, really. The art of living or happiness of the life, really, what do you say? You're losing. That's why the mobile is called cell phone. It is a cell. We have been bound in that cell. We purchase a mobile phone, no doubt, but by purchasing, we are getting into the cell actually. It is a paid cell actually. So that's what we experience. So unfortunately, we are depending subjectively, first internally. I need so many things for my dependence. The moment I think what happens, then definitely that has been reflected that I start depending on the people. Why are you morose? Oh, Swami, I don't have any good friend at all. Okay. Why are you morose? Swami, I've got a job, but it is not a lucrative job. Earlier, when I was studying, if I get a job, that's fine. I got a job, then I say work is more better. They're demanding more work. I should have less work and good salary. Fine. With God's grace, I got it. Yeah, less work. Okay, work is tolerable and pay is also good, but my colleagues are not good. Okay, that also has been resolved. God resolved. Oh, my dear, be happy and resolved. I said, my manager is not good. Okay, that has been resolved. Then company is a bit far. I have to travel a bit. So we keep on complaining. We keep on telling something, and somehow we make sure that we are not happy, or I cannot be happy, or I am not happy. Even of course, from the argument sake or from objectively, for my sustenance, I need food, clothes, shelter. These are the three basic necessities for me. If God has given me, then why to lament? Why to comment? Or why to blame? Why to complain? But we keep on complaining. We keep on complaining. We have become such a depending personality. First, the dependence is internal, subjective, and afterwards it has been manifested in the objective universe, in the objectively and the external world. So these two problems has to be stopped. That's why you have to study Advaita Vedanta. That's why you have to listen to my Drishya Viveka lectures regularly. How? By knowing that I am the self, I am the witness, I am the conscious, I am the subject, I am independent. If so, then all other things are just comes and goes, just like a dream. It doesn't require much actually. Maybe objectively, for the sustenance of the body and mind, I need food, I need cloth, I need shelter for the sustenance of the body and mind, not for my sustenance. So this differentiation, distinction should be made. For my sustenance, I don't need anything. I am self, I am luminous, self luminous, I am independent, I am consciousness. But for this body mind sustenance, yes, I need food, I need clothes, I need shelter, I need money, no doubt. I need relationships, maybe, no doubt. So for body and mind sustenance, it needs, so that we have to understand. So, but I am mistaking with the body and mind, I am becoming insecure. And I'm trying to become secure by getting objects, by getting this, by getting that, and so many things we got, and but still we are not secure. So insecurity, one is at the first point, it is subjective. Subjectively, it happens because depending on the matter, depending on in the world, depending on the name and form or objects, then that has been manifested externally also. Maybe external dependence is required, no doubt. It cannot be nullified. As from birth to death, we need it. We need things, no doubt. But internal dependence, it is always subjective. That can be removed by studying self, by removing the misidentification with the body and mind and the external world. Then what happens? Then the insecurity problem goes away. The problem of insecurity has been nullified or solved. Then I can be happy at all times. That's why someone asked Buddha, how can I be happy at all times? He said, think that this will also go away. This will also go away, or this shall also pass. When I'm unhappy, when I'm at the loss, when I hear this type of statement, it makes sense. Ah, okay. Buddha has said, this shall too pass. This will also go away. Ah, very fine. Okay, tomorrow that's it. Acts as a ray of hope, like a silver lining. Okay, this will also go away. That means this loss will go away, the problem will go away, or the misery will go away. Fine. This is acceptable. We are all very happy about it. But when I'm happy, when I'm profitable, or when whatever I want, I'm in a Disney park, then this shall too pass. Can I think, Swami? It's like you keep this philosophy for yourself. Maybe Lord Buddha can keep it himself, not for me at this juncture. Then we say, okay, enjoy it now. Then when the next suffering comes, you have to experience and you have to accept it. Why? Oh, Swami, we don't want that. No. The nature lies buy one, get one free. If you want one, if you buy one, the other one comes automatically. You don't have any choice. So this you have to be very clear. You don't have a choice. If you want pleasure, you have to suffer sorrow as comes as a part of package. You have to accept it. There is no other way. Say, for an example, in the name of decency, sometimes I make a joke. In the name of decency, in the flight, we have to keep quiet. Neither you can get up until otherwise they say they are low or whatever. Whereas in the train, if you're passing, you can get up and you can walk and you can go and stand near the door. At least in India, at least we can go and stand near door for some time and all. But in the flight, can you go and stand near the door? Immediately alarm rings and you will be banged or whatnot in the name of decency. So we pay more money and in the name of decency, we keep quiet shut, isn't it? So like that. But because the journey is comfortable and it is a short duration, yes, whatever the other side effects which are there as a part of travel, we have to accept it, no doubt. So this we have to understand very clearly. The problem is it starts at first intellect, at the subjective level, internally, and that has been manifested externally. That's why I feel that I am happy, I am unhappy, I am good, I am bad, I am I mean, I have a profit and I'm a loser. I'm a profiter and I'm a loser. All these experiences coming. Why? Because of the self is misidentifying with the body and mind. That's why this individual self, embodied self, has come into existence, and the cycle of birth and death is being repeated. So now, why I am suffering, why I am in bondage, why I am bound, you have got an answer. Now, what the realization can come, realization is for self or embodied self, what it is, the nature of realization, and realization is for whom, that question may come. That has been explained in the next verse. We will try to discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.